There's a sound no microphone on earth can fully capture. It isn't the beat, it isn't the scream, it isn't the chorus. It's the sound of tens of thousands of people realizing in the exact same second that the wait is finally over. And that's the sound that ripped through AT&T Stadium the moment the first lights dropped and the crowd understood that yes, it was real, BTS was there, and the Night Army had waited years for had finally begun. But nobody, and I mean nobody in that stadium, was ready for what came next, because what happened on night one in Arlington wasn't just a concert, it was one of those moments where the ground itself seems to answer the emotion in the room. And if you think you already get the whole story just from the title, stay with me, because there's a layer here most people haven't noticed yet. Let's rewind for a second so you can feel the weight of what this night actually means. For almost 2 years, ARMY lived through a silence no other fandom really understands. One by one, all 7 of them left to serve their mandatory military service. No tour, no stage with the 7 of them together, just the promise that one day they'd come back. And when it comes to BTS and ARMY, a promise is never an empty word. So when the Arirang World Tour was announced as the Great Return, the biggest tour of their entire career, every single date turned into an event. And Arlington, Texas didn't get one night, it got 2. Inside one of the largest stadiums in the United States, the enormous home of the Dallas Cowboys, a place built to hold a crowd that makes real noise. And this is where I have to ask you for one thing before the story heats up. If you're ARMY, or if this feeling of a reunion hits you in any way, subscribe to this channel right now, because what I'm about to tell you about this night is exactly the kind of detail most videos rush right past, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Stick with me, because the strongest part hasn't even arrived yet. Picture the setup. A stage built in a full 360-degree design, made so that nobody in the stadium would ever feel like they were on the outside of the party. A production that carries, in every visual detail, a tribute to the Korean flag and Korean culture, as if BTS were saying, without a single word, this is where we came from, and this is where we always return. And then, the machine kicks in. The hits ARMY knows by heart start falling one after another. The energy climbs. Fake Love makes the whole stadium sing that beautiful ache. Misai Drop lands like a punch. Fire literally sets the room ablaze. Idol becomes organized chaos, an ocean of people jumping, and you think you've already seen the peak. You think the roller coaster has already hit the top, but BTS is holding a card that changes everything, and that card has a name. Every Arirang show has a moment nobody can predict. It's the surprise song block. 2 tracks chosen on the spot, changing from night to night, and they're a surprise even to the members themselves because the whole thing is decided right there on stage, in front of everyone. There have been ballad nights that made the stadium cry. There have been deep-cut nights that only the most hardcore ARMY recognized in the first few seconds before completely losing it. Nobody walks into an Arirang show knowing what they'll get in that moment. And it's exactly that uncertainty that turns this part of the show into the most electric stretch of the entire night. Because when that intro starts, the whole stadium holds its breath trying to guess. Which one is it? Which one comes tonight? And then, according to what the ARMYs who were actually there started posting in a flood, the answer on night 1 was the kind that makes your heart race. The videos that took over social media point to Permission to Dance and Go-Go, back to back. And I have to be honest with you here, because I'm not going to sell you a made-up story. The official final list of each night's surprises usually comes out later, once things settle. So what we have for now are the accounts and the recordings of the people who lived it from the inside. But if those clips are telling the truth, and everything suggests they are, then what happened there was almost cruel in how perfect it was, because those 2 songs together aren't just any pick. They're the exact emotional fuel to make an entire stadium come undone. Think about it with me. Permission to Dance was born in a moment when the whole world was locked down, afraid, unable to hold each other. It was a song built to say that one day we'd be able to dance again without needing anyone's permission. And now, years later, in a packed stadium in the United States, with all 7 back after military service, that promise stopped being a hope and became reality unfolding in front of everyone. People weren't just singing a song, they were living out, in real time, the exact thing the song had promised all those years ago. Is there anything more powerful than that? And right after, Go Go. That explosion of pure energy, contagious choreography, a chorus that sticks, the track that turns any crowd into a single organism jumping as one. It's the kind of song that leaves no room to stand still. When the two blend into each other, emotion becomes ecstasy, and ecstasy becomes that physical vibration that makes the stands of an entire stadium genuinely shake. And that's why the title of this story isn't fan exaggeration. When tens of thousands of people jump to the same rhythm, scream the same chorus, and feel the same thing at the same time, the structure responds. The sound becomes something you feel in your chest before you hear it with your ears. Fans said you could feel the ground vibrating under your feet. And look, that's not magic. That's physics and emotion happening at once, in the same place. Now tell me something, because I really want to know. If you had to pick just one of those two to hear live, with all 7 on stage, after everything Army went through in these years of waiting, which one would you choose? Permission to Dance, with that meaning of freedom that hits even harder today, or Go Go, with that energy that won't let a single person stand still? Drop it in the comments below, because I'm almost certain that answer is going to split Army right down the middle, and I want to watch that debate happen. But there's something about this night that goes beyond the songs, and it's the thing almost nobody is talking about. This show wasn't just a show, it was an answer. Throughout the entire time the group was away, underneath all of Army's love, there was a quiet question nobody wanted to say out loud. Would it be the same when they came back? Would the connection, that almost impossible to explain thing between BTS and Army, still be alive after so long? Would the magic survive the absence? And Night 1 in Arlington answered that without needing a single word. It answered with an entire stadium that knew every lyric, every gesture, every pause. It answered with people who crossed states, countries, oceans, just to be in that place. It answered with an energy that, according to those who were there, didn't feel like a reunion after years apart, but like people who had never truly been separated at all. Because that's the thing outsiders will never understand about this bond. The time apart didn't weaken anything. If anything, the opposite. Every month of waiting became fuel. Every ache that was held in became voice. And when it finally had permission to erupt in a giant Texas stadium on an August night, with Permission to Dance and Go Go flowing one into the other, everything that had been held back came out all at once. It wasn't just noise. It was years of stored up love finally finding somewhere to go. And maybe that's why this night will stay marked. Not for the set list, which by tomorrow will be logged on any website. Not for the size of the stadium, as huge as it is. But for what happened in the invisible, in the air, between the stage and the crowd. That rare moment when 7 people on one side and a multitude on the other stop being 2 separate things and become one. That's what made AT&T Stadium shake. It wasn't just feet hitting the floor, it was everything those songs mean, meeting everything Army felt on the exact same beat. And now here's the good part, because this story isn't over. Night 1 was only the first of the 2 shows. There's a second night in Arlington, and the most magical thing about this tour is precisely not knowing what surprises are coming. Every performance writes its own chapter. So if this story gave you chills, if you felt anything reading this far, do 3 things for me before you go. Leave your like, because it helps this story reach more armies who need to feel this too. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to keep following every night of this tour up close, with the details nobody else tells you. And tell me one last thing in the comments. After everything, after the wait, after the silence, what does it mean to you to see BTS back on stage, all 7 together, making an entire stadium shake? Because I have a feeling that deep down, this night was never really about the music. It was about proof that some connections don't fade. They just wait for the right moment to burn brighter than ever.